All right, so now we size it up to 250 millimeters. There we go. And next thing we're going to do is make it gray. So click on the ball, click on solid, switch to gray. And that's it for the first step. So we're going to make some craters now. So to do that, we need to select a cone. I'm going to zoom in, and it says to scale down my cone a half, so down to 10 millimeters. Next, it says to create a box and put it next to the cone. Okay, you have to make sure that the cone is aligned up with the square or the cube. Okay, once it is lined up, you can click the Align tool again. That's the reflection tool. And then you're going to click on the middle one here in the center. There we go. And that brings it inside the box. The next thing it says is to take your box and lift it up 2/3 of the way. So basically what we're doing is we're cutting off the top part of the cone. So I want to get rid of this align thing, so I'll just click to the side, and then I'll drag up this like this. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group the two together. So I've got a highlight and group. And there we go. Okay, now it cuts off the top part of my cone. The next thing it says to do is to take a sphere and bring it onto the work plane. Now, the next thing, when it's referring to the z-axis, is talking about the y, or about the height. So it says to scale it down to 13 millimeters. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag the sphere on top of the cone, just so it's slightly bigger than the cone itself. Okay, there we go. And I aligned it too, so it's in the center. So the next thing we're going to do is position the craters on top of the sphere. So here goes nothing. Okay, here we are. So we have our sphere and we have our little craters. So we're going to go up to the work plane up here, and we're going to drag this to the sphere. Now we're going to take this, and we're going to, and it's important for you to, if you haven't done so already, make this into a hole. Okay. All right, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to zoom out. I'm just going to pop this onto. Okay, once the work plane is selected on top of the crater, on top of the moon, you can just pop the crater that you copy and pasted onto the moon. So now we're just going to move the work plane around the sphere and just paste these little craters. Okay, and I'm just going around, so I'm just kind of pausing the video and selecting the work plane and popping it on top of the sphere. Just trying to find a whole bunch of different spaces here where I can find an empty spot, and just throwing that work plane on there. Sometimes it does that. Just got to click off to the side and then select a new spot. There we go. Well, there's a whole bunch of empty spots down here, so I'll do the same thing. So I encourage you to try the same thing. I'll pause the video and you can do that. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of these little things, craters on top of my sphere. Just going to delete these extra ones here, and I'm going to move on to the next step. Okay, so we're just doing the finishing touches on the last part of our crater here. Okay, for the final touches, it says to make a second sphere, and I'm not entirely sure why. So I'm not going to do that. But I am going to show you how to do this. It says to group it, everything. Oh. So it says to group everything, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to group everything really quickly. So I highlight, click group, and let the magic Tinkercad work its magic. And there we go. There's our sphere. Or I should say our moon. It's definitely not perfect, as I'm not sure what happened with some of these gaps here, but it's done. Great, thanks for tuning in, and that's how you make a moon with craters from Tinkercad.